He's at the Combine preparing to talk to the media. The warrant involves 2 misdemeanor charges, reckless driving and racing. Both come from an alcohol-related crash of a separate vehicle in January that killed a teammate and a Georgia recruiting staffer. Carter tweeted yesterday that he will be, quote, fully exonerated of any criminal wrongdoing. Skip, I'll start with you on this one. How concerned should NFL teams be about this situation?
I'll start where you started on Ja. We still don't know enough.
Correct.
And the first thing all these GMs now at the Combine want to know is more.
Correct.
We need more information.
Yes.
And my biggest takeaway before I launch deeper on this is that 2 people lost their lives here.
Yes.
A young woman who worked in the recruiting department for the University of Georgia, and a player, a teammate of Jalen Carter's. So forgive me now if I operate just on the football level, respecting the fact of those families that lost loved ones.
Yes.
Our friend Jarrett Bell wrote a terrific piece this morning, USA Today, because he's at the Combine. And his plan yesterday was to interview Jalen Carter, who was supposed to have a big media session and missed it because I assume he was going home because there was a warrant out for his arrest.
Yep, misdemeanor warrant.
Okay, misdemeanor warrant for reckless driving and racing. So the headline on Jarrett's piece is, Jalen Carter's arrest warrant leaves rampant questions, including for NFL teams. And he goes on to say that suddenly Jalen Carter, who's only 21 years of age, created buzz at the NFL Combine for all the wrong reasons. And he goes on to say that back in September, Carter was ticketed for driving 89 miles an hour in a 45-mile-per-hour zone. And now the revelation that he might have left the scene of a fatal crash or even contributed to it by racing is poised to overshadow whatever hype he fueled with his excellence as a football player.
True.
Just for the record, Mel Kiper, we talked about him yesterday, had rated Jalen Carter his #1 overall prospect. He is clearly the best defensive prospect, I believe, on the board. Young man at Alabama might have an argument there. But the point is, it's highly possible that the first to go off the board defensively will be Jalen Carter.
Correct.
We don't know how high the quarterbacks will go. I'm assuming they're going to go at least 1, 2. So could Jalen Carter go 3 or 4 right in that? Sure. Okay, so that's what we're dealing with here. And we're back to the same idea, the same issue is operating for Jalen Carter, the same cautionary tale of, what were you doing? What were you thinking? They had just celebrated a back-to-back national championship at Sanford Stadium. Once upon a time, you wanted to play for Georgia.
Between the hedges.
Grew up there, obviously not too far from Athens, right? Not well. It's
about 3 hours.
About 3 hours from Athens.
South.
But there, at one point growing up, that was your dream, was to play between the hedges. All right. Well, he got to play between the hedges and won back-to-back national championships. So they go celebrate. Now it's 2:30 in the morning. And according to the police reports, they were racing. They were changing lanes. They were down the center lane. They were going opposite traffic at 2:30 in the morning. And the other vehicle was traveling at 104 miles an hour. It was a Ford Explorer, I believe.
Explorer Expedition.
Expedition, yeah, Ford Expedition, 2021 Expedition, against his car, which was the Jeep Trackhawk, which they'll go. And the passenger tire on a left curve caught the curb, and that Expedition left the road and flew up against several trees and spun, and the worst happened for 2 people involved, and 2 others were hurt badly. And according to police, Jalen Carter came back to the scene of the crime maybe an hour and a half later, and initially did not tell the truth about his involvement and said he was in a nearby apartment complex and heard the crash. And then later admitted, well, I was actually involved. And yet, as Jen read, he has made a big point on Twitter of saying, I will be fully exonerated of any criminal wrongdoing. But the misdemeanors are misdemeanors. And they're usually punishable just with a probation fine, big fine and a probation. So that's probably not looking at any jail time here. So he wasn't directly involved, but he was peripherally involved
Yes.
in this incident,
Yes.
according to the police.
You're absolutely
All
right.
right. So now we're to, if I'm an NFL team, I'm going to wonder about the speeding ticket. I'm going to wonder about any behavior that might predict that he will be an ongoing problem for me. Back to Ja, he's had these incidents. Does that mean they're going to be ongoing, or will he see the error of his ways and suddenly just grow up?
Correct.
Am I deeply disturbed by this kind of behavior? No, because I don't want to be a hypocrite here. We've both gotten our share of speeding tickets.
Your kid.
Yeah.
He's
Okay.
a college kid.
Yeah, and I've gotten them as an adult.
No, absolutely.
And you got them when you were a kid. I know you've told the stories
Yes.
before. Okay, we get that. But the cautionary tale here again is he's just on the verge of what could be. It could be a Hall of Fame career. He could one day join you in Canton, Ohio.
Definitely on the verge of generational wealth. That's one thing for certain.
For certain. And so this is a moment. Now alcohol was involved in the driver of the other
Right.
car.
Alcohol and speed don't mix,
Okay,
Skip.
they do not mix. According to police, even though he was not tested, Jalen Carter, the officer involved said he didn't appear to have any alcohol going on. So we're going to eliminate that on his side.
Okay.
But in the biggest picture to me, you have to reflect back on one momentary bad decision can literally wreck your whole life.
Lifetime of consequences.
It could have been, it's a lifetime of consequences. It could have been you that left the car. Because if she was driving her car 104, I'm assuming yours was going somewhere in that neighborhood,
Yes.
right?
We're racing. I'm trying to win.
Yep.
So if they're going 104, and if I'm in front of you, I'm going to try to go faster. If I'm behind you, I'm going to try to catch up. That's just the way it works.
Just the way it works. He has a chance, if he did go number one, he would be the first overall defensive tackle taken since, you'll remember, 1994, Big Daddy Wilkinson. Big Dan. Okay. He didn't work out. Maybe Jalen will. Jalen's a really good player. Again, every time I turn on my TV, he flashes for me because he dominates football games. So the lesson is not only to him, but to all the kids watching us right now. This is a momentary flashpoint decision. This isn't something you think about. You didn't wake up that morning thinking, I'm going to race back to the apartment complex or whatever. It just happened. There was some alcohol involved on the other side. They were celebrating. It's 2:30 in the morning. They all leave at the same time to go home. And all of a sudden you're out and there's nobody out on the street at this point. And let's go.
Right.
Let's do this. You have a lot to lose. You have generational wealth for years to come for your whole family is on the line when you risk when you push that far down on that accelerator.
The thing that you stand to lose the most is your life.
Yeah.
There's something about being young, Skip, that you don't fear death. You don't think of death. I never thought about when I got in my car and was doing some of the things that I did that I thought I could die. It never dawned on me because, Skip, you know why? Because I didn't really know anybody that had close to me had gotten killed in a car accident. Obviously, I watch the news and I see people die every day. Thousands of people die in car crashes a day. But I didn't know anybody. I never wore a seatbelt until 1999 when Derek Thomas' car left the roadway and he got thrown from it. From that point on, I've always worn a seatbelt. But prior to that, I didn't know anybody that had got thrown from a car. So why would it couldn't happen to me? Skip, again, to echo what you said, two people tragically lost their lives. And I'm so sorry to the families that what you're going through. I can just imagine the grief that you must be enduring right now. And so my thoughts and prayers go to you and all those people that are impacted by this. Skip, like you said, some evaluators will look at this and say this is a red flag, and they're probably going to remove him from his board. But I was a kid. I was 21 years of age, and I got a speeding ticket going 108, and I got another speeding ticket going about 5 minutes later going 92. And, Skip, the thing is, when you're going that fast, and I don't know if anybody's ever gone over 100 miles an hour, but things go really quick. Quick. It's almost like there's not, like, you go past light poles or trees, and it's like everything is like the whole forest is just one. It's not no one tree, two tree, it's a... Yep. Now, imagine going that fast at night, when the depth perception of what you're able to see and the visibility is greatly reduced. It never dawned on me, Skip, man, what if I blow a tire? Not only am I in the car, but I got three of them. I got my homeboy and three homeboys in the back. 5, ain't no way. Nobody's surviving that, Skip, at 108.
Remember, your opponent in this race is 2.5 times over the legal limit.
Yes.
Okay?
Skip, and this happened, I'm 21. This is a month. Hold up. This might be 3 weeks before the draft. Because I got drafted, if I'm not mistaken, April 23rd, 1993. I was coming back from Black College Weekend in Daytona. We just talked about Lil Duval. I was on the podcast. We were talking about it. Skip, when you young, you don't think about stuff like this. It never dawned on me like, man, Shannon, you might die. The front tire blow, the back tire blow. Bro, you're not going to be able to control this. And your car is not a NASCAR. Your doors aren't welded shut. You don't have a Hans device on to protect your neck.
You don't.
It's over.
You don't have a roll bar.
You don't have a roll bar, Skip. So, like I said, it's like we need more facts to come out. Skip, the man's nervous. I can just imagine. That man is nervous. You want me to tell you at that moment in time, first of all, I'm going to get him in trouble. Even though he's dead, they're dead. Let me tell you what happened, officer. We were racing. I looked at my speedometer. I was probably going 110, so they had to be going at least. Come on, Skip. That man's 21. He's not going to tell you that.
Plus, he knows what's coming.
Right.
Called the NFL draft.
Yeah, I'm Jalen Carter. He knows that he's one of the top two or three players in this entire draft. He knows that.
He knows.
And so to ask him, that's asking an awful lot of a 21-year-old to be forthcoming in a situation like that. Now, Skip, if nothing had happened, we get started. Yeah, we were racing. Nobody lost their life. But my friend lost his life. And so I'm not going to be as forthcoming as I should have. Yep. Like I said, we need more things to come forward. But I can't condemn the kid, Skip, because I was 21. I've done some things that when I look back on it, I'm like, what the hell was I thinking? Yeah. Because what probably would have happened if I had done something, you'd probably have to just put my grandmother next side me because I was a baby.
Yeah.
And the grief would have been so unbearable for her. There ain't no telling what would happen.
That is a fact. That I get you.
So I can't condemn the young man. Yeah. I just hope he learns from this. This is an opportunity for you to learn. Yeah. Unfortunately, 2 people had to lose their life. 2 other people, I think 1 or 2 other people were seriously injured in this. Yeah. Hopefully you learn a lesson, and this can be a cautionary tale for other guys.
Hopefully.
It can happen to you.
Okay, here was the worst case scenario in sort of a similar situation. Remember Lyle Collins before his draft?
Yes.
He was a top 10 pick out of LSU.
Yes. He would have been
an offensive tackle. He ended up being a right tackle. But I think he played left tackle at LSU. And because he had dated a woman who had been murdered, and some people suspected he had something
about a baby.
Okay, whatever. Nothing ever proven at all. He went undrafted. He went from a top 10 pick to undrafted, and Jerry Jones was able to, quote unquote, steal him, really, because he became a very good player for the Dallas Cowboys, and now he's playing, obviously, for Joe Burrow and the Bengals. Last point. This is from Martin Mayhew, who's now the Washington Commanders GM. I have a lot of respect for him, and he was asked about Jalen Carter yesterday, and he said, this is something that needs to be explained, thoroughly explained, something that needs to be investigated in terms of, is this the first time this has ever happened?
Right.
Has it happened before?
Yes.
Is it something that can be controlled? These are the kind of questions that are going to get asked.
And rightfully so. I'm about to hand this man $25, $30 million of my dollars. I need to know.
And there are those out there, the more conservative, who will just say, you know what, I just can't risk it. I'm sorry, I just can't risk it.
You're right.
Okay, so that's what's operating here as we speak. The combine is happening. And he had already been there and interviewed with several teams last couple of days.
Well, this is what we know, Skip. If it's been proven, now you said it's documented that he has 1 speeding ticket. That's documented.
That's documented.
Okay.
89 and a 45.
He might have been racing. That's twice. Jalen, have you learned your lesson? Do you understand what speed does? Because not only you, because what about the other cars that's not suspecting, that's not going as fast as you are? You run up on them. And we saw the Skip. We just saw this with Henry Ruggs.
We did. Oh, Lord have mercy.
I mean, but Skip, as an athlete, you think you're invincible. The thing that makes us great, any athlete that makes him great is a mind that we can't be stopped.
Yep.
And you don't think anything can happen to you, Skip. Come on, bro, it's me. What's going to happen? Until it happens, and you're like, damn. But I hope this young man has learned his lesson about driving fast. And that, like I said, he's young. That's why I can't totally condemn him, Skip, because, like you said, I don't want to be a hypocrite, because I know what I was doing at 18, 19, 20, 21. Yep. I was driving fast.
Yep. Ditto.
That fast car was not only a Tracy Chapman song, it was a Shannon Sharp's life.
That's true.
Excellent points, gentlemen. I hope our young viewers in particular are paying close attention to what you had to say. FYI, Adam Schefter reporting Jalen Carter is now back in Indy at the Combine.